New post-apocalyptic games built with Unreal Engine 5 are on the horizon to excite gamers. These upcoming titles stand out for their detailed worlds, advanced lighting, and realistic environments shaped by collapse and survival. Let's get into it.
Earth was invaded. Lost in less than a minute.
4Loop is a tactical 4-player co-op third-person shooter built around repeated combat runs against an alien invasion. Each match expects frequent deaths, with progress coming from player learning and better team coordination rather than permanent upgrades. The roguelike structure resets encounters while encouraging new squad setups and tactics. Online co-op supports cross-platform multiplayer, in-game chat, and controller play, allowing teams to adjust roles and strategies across multiple attempts during high-pressure battles.
It's all part of my new plan! Every time you fail, I will use our machine to bring you back!
Reprinting. Reprinting.
If you can relentlessly experiment...
Reprinting. 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 Reprinting.
Test strategies! Learn from your failures! You will become the world-saving team humanity needs you to be! Trust me, the voice in my head hasn't been wrong yet. From now on, nothing is impossible.
The announcement. The Rotor Laboratory, on behalf of the government, assures that none of the bacteriological attacks will...
Rooted is a survival game that supports solo play and online multiplayer in a post-apocalyptic environment reclaimed by nature. Players gather materials, salvage old equipment, craft tools, and build camps or outposts across forests, villages, and city areas. Base systems allow defenses, automation, electricity, and workshops to grow over time. Online co-op and PvP are available with optional friendly fire and in-game voice chat, while animals and other humans act as dynamic threats.
It is crucial to have your ID card with you at all times in case of control. For safety reasons, the Army has deployed autonomous civilian security robots. They are here to protect you.
Horizon Steel Frontiers is a multiplayer MMORPG for mobile and PC developed by NCSoft, bringing cooperative play to the Horizon universe. Combat shifts from bow-heavy ranged fighting toward close-range melee, with swords, dual blades, deflection abilities, traps, and grappling onto machines after breaking parts. Players hunt machines in teams, use mounts such as bristlebacks, sunwings, chargers, and a new stalker mount, tackle large enemies like slaughter spines and tallnecks, explore cauldrons together, and take part in co-op and PvP activities.
because everything on the outside would kill us.
DEFECT is a cyberpunk first-person SWAT shooter taking place in a city controlled by an AI called the System. Players can play solo, join co-op missions, or compete in a 4-team squad battle mode with changing objectives such as arrests, smuggling, and assassinations. Matches rely on squad tactics, modern weapons, and specialized technology. The game supports cross-platform multiplayer, LAN play, controllers, and includes a level editor for creating custom scenarios and structured team-based progression across different modes.
Starving dog, I kneel.
Darklight Survivor is an action roguelike survival game set across collapsing universes, connected by the Phantom Train. Gameplay alternates between top-down and third-person views during combat encounters with hostile creatures. Players collect resources to power travel between locations while upgrading weapons, armor, and abilities through deep customization systems. Each run introduces procedural elements, escalating enemy difficulty, large boss fights, and visual options that switch between cinematic presentation and a pixel-based mode.
No one knows how that world came into being.
Tides of Annihilation is a fantasy action-adventure taking place in a ruined modern London altered by an otherworldly invasion. Players control Gwendolyn and engage in real-time combat while summoning spectral knights inspired by Arthurian legend, each providing distinct abilities. Combat allows chaining knight skills for coordinated attacks and tactical variation. Large-scale encounters include climbing and fighting massive knight enemies integrated into level progression, while narrative progression revolves around uncovering events tied to the city's collapse and Gwendolyn's family.
My wish can be fulfilled.
But wishes come at a price.
To pursue one's wishes is to court one's doom.
For the king!
Can't escape from your doomed fate!
Gwendolyn, this is your final warning.
My quarrel lies not with you, but I will take back everything that belongs to me. Even if the price is my soul. The table is dead. It exists no more.
Hello Sunshine is a survival RPG set in the ruins of a corporate empire ruled by machines. Players move alongside a massive walking robot during the day to avoid heat and radiation, using its shadow as protection. At night, the robot stops to recharge, and survival depends on staying close for warmth, making camp, and crafting gear. Gameplay includes scavenging, upgrading equipment, repairing the robot, programming helper bots, and uncovering information tied to the collapse of the corporation. Hunger is a PvPvE extraction RPG set in plague-ravaged Napoleonic Europe. Players enter high-risk expeditions alone or in small groups, scavenging resources while fighting monsters and rival survivors. Combat mixes firearms with close-range melee weapons, requiring careful positioning and timing. Progression continues through completed runs, quests, and a persistent skill system with crafting professions and trading. Social hubs support preparation, character growth, and player interaction before returning to the field.
These folds of flesh you and I both know. Death has judged us rightly. For we are but beasts, unworthy of salvation.
Ill is a first-person action horror game taking place inside a large research fort overtaken by a hostile entity. Combat combines firearms and melee weapons with realistic physics and a detailed dismemberment system that affects enemy behavior. Monsters react dynamically to sound, damage, and the environment, creating unpredictable encounters. Players manage weapons, inventory, and upgrades while navigating puzzle elements that rely on physical interaction and environmental reactions to survive ongoing threats.
만약 이 결정이 패권 국가의 특정 정치 집단의 이익을 저해한다면
MUDANG Two Hearts is a third-person action-adventure set in a unified Korea facing terrorist attacks in Seoul. Players control a soldier involved in military operations, while the narrative also connects to a K-pop star tied to the Crysis. Gameplay allows switching between stealth, close-quarters combat, and direct firefights within open-ended levels. Missions support multiple routes, environmental interactions, and gadget use, with enemy AI reacting to sound, movement, and combat tactics during encounters.
당신은 무엇 때문에 분노하는가? 당신의 분노는 스스로 결정한 것입니다. 누군가 당신의 분노를 이용한다. 영태!
Who were you before? Who did you love?
State of Decay 3 is a survival action game centered on building and maintaining a community during a long-running zombie outbreak. Players manage survivors, gather resources, and develop a shared base while responding to changing threats across the map. Combat includes melee and ranged options, with permanent consequences if a community member dies. Choices influence events and character outcomes over time. Online co-op allows up to 4 players to build, defend, and grow a persistent settlement together.
You helped us make something greater than the fear and death that surrounded us. We found hope in each other.
Help! I'm surrounded. They're everywhere. There's way more than I was expecting.
And even if we bought the other survivors just one more day, the sacrifice would be worth it. It would always be worth it. And that helped us find the courage to keep going, to fight on. When we needed it the most. I didn't know you well. But we'll keep your memory alive. Every sacrifice we make matters and will never be forgotten. No one is forgotten. We live on.
Crysis 4 is a first-person shooter that continues the Crysis series, known for its sci-fi combat and nanosuit mechanics. The game is planned around high-tech warfare, where players use advanced abilities such as enhanced strength, speed, armor, and stealth while fighting hostile forces and alien threats. Combat is expected to focus on large-scale encounters, environmental destruction, and tactical freedom, building on the series' core design of open combat spaces and player-driven approaches. Blight Survival is a third-person PvE action horror game set in a war-torn medieval land corrupted by a spreading plague. Players fight alone or in squads of up to 4, facing both human enemies and mutated creatures during high-risk missions. Combat relies on directional melee systems with varied weapons, armor, and talent choices. Runs involve gathering loot, managing risk, and deciding when to retreat or continue deeper, with progression shaped by survival, coordination, and tactical decision-making.
Dreams can no longer fool me.
Nobody's Left is a third-person action game set in a post-war city where survival depends on combat awareness and adaptation. Gameplay combines shooting, stealth, and close-range fighting, with enemies that stalk, ambush, and react to player noise and movement. Some encounters favor silent takedowns, while others push direct gunplay with limited assistance. Missions include hidden narrative details that add context to the setting, while weapon handling, positioning, and timing play a major role in staying alive during hostile encounters.
At night. touch with humanity and became the only god of this wreck. Grandpa, I can see why you were so cruel to me. Because this world has no mercy. All of this forest is watered by blood drops, so I'm trying to give it more of that.
Damnation.
Captain, faster!
Canyons is a third-person action shooter built around PvE combat in a procedurally generated environment. Players fight awakened creatures alone, or in co-op with up to 4 players, using ranged weapons, relic-based abilities, and shared tactics. Expeditions take place aboard massive crawlers that act as mobile platforms between encounters. Progression includes building and upgrading a personal haven, managing supplies, improving gear, and developing character skills while adapting to dynamic events and enemy threats across each run.
Knows where the awakened came from, but their power grows. Only the warriors of the Order and their faith can save what remains.
Welcome aboard, Throngar.
That's a goddamn train!
Looks like a couple defiled over there.
Lots of people lost things in the blackout.
Blade Runner 2023 Labyrinth is a single-player narrative adventure set between the original Blade Runner film and Blade Runner 2049, following the aftermath of the blackout that ended Tyrell Corporation and Replicant production. Players take on the role of a former Blade Runner drawn back into service, navigating a futuristic city shaped by political collapse and missing technology. Gameplay centers on investigation, dialogue-driven progression, and environmental interaction, with story development tied closely to uncovering information and responding to unfolding events.
Being someone else. In places that no longer exist. That's where you'll find me. Searching. In the land of the dead.
Bad news for you. Yeah, of course you do. Zombies are real, and I need new pants.
John Carpenter's Toxic Commando is a cooperative first-person shooter built around squad-based combat against large groups of monsters. Players select distinct characters and fight solo or in teams of up to 4 using firearms and heavy weapons across action-focused missions. Gameplay emphasizes constant movement, crowd control, and coordination as enemies attack in waves. Cross-platform online co-op supports shared progression, while mission structure is designed around replayable encounters that reward teamwork, positioning, and efficient use of firepower.
Look! More slug shit! It's a zombie apocalypse!
Fuck that.
Neo Berlin 2087 is a cyberpunk action RPG that switches between first-person and third-person play, set in a future Berlin divided by power and technology. Players control a detective investigating a murder that leads into a wider conspiracy, using combat, stealth, dialogue, and investigation systems. Gameplay includes weapon and ability customization, hacking mechanics to extract information, and combat against human enemies and rogue machines, with missions spanning dense city districts and hostile wasteland areas beyond the walls.
Neo Berlin, what do I really know about it? She's like you. She needs your help.
I followed every thread, reconstructed memories. None of it fits.
You think you're solving the case. This is so much bigger. What if the case is you?
The world only works with order. Without order, chaos breaks out. It's out of balance and we must restore it. Do you understand that, Nolan?
Yes.
Nolan, what have you done?
Atlas 1.
Phantom Line is a cooperative first-person shooter set in a post-nuclear European region affected by paranormal activity. Players act as operators sent to investigate and contain anomalies across an open map with dynamic events. Gameplay supports solo play or teams of up to 4, combining tactical gunplay with survival systems. A body transfer mechanic allows switching between artificial units for scouting and combat, while progression involves crafting gear, upgrading a mobile base, and managing resources during repeated missions.
The organization is counting on you. Wield the husks for the cause. Now, go die again.
The White City for certain.
Darksiders 4 is a third-person action-adventure RPG that continues the series storyline in an apocalyptic version of Earth. Players choose one of the 4 horsemen, each with distinct weapons, abilities, and combat styles. Gameplay combines melee combat, supernatural powers, traversal mechanics, and environmental puzzles across interconnected areas. Progression involves defeating enemies and bosses, unlocking new abilities, and using character-specific tools to access new paths and solve challenges within a lore-driven setting. Gears of War E-Day depicts the first day of the Locust invasion, set years before the original Gears of War. Players control Marcus Phoenix during the initial collapse of human defenses using cover-based third-person shooting with heavy weapons and close-range combat. Gameplay emphasizes tight squad coordination, aggressive enemy encounters, and environmental destruction. The campaign presents linear missions built around intense firefights and survival scenarios, with co-op support allowing shared progression through story-driven combat sequences.
Those we love most of all.
Reanimal is a horror adventure game that can be played solo or in co-op, following a brother and sister trying to rescue their missing friends on a hostile island. Gameplay relies on environmental puzzles, careful movement, and cooperation to avoid threats rather than direct combat. Players travel by foot and boat, using timing and teamwork to progress. A shared camera system keeps both characters on screen, shaping encounters around tension, limited space, and coordinated decision-making.
So it is not difficult for us to picture the sort of life you are all leading. I know you won't forget us. Good night, and good luck to you all.
The War of the Worlds Siberia is an action-adventure game set in an alternate 1896 during a Martian invasion of the Russian Empire. Players control a young student trying to survive while fleeing both invading machines and human threats. Gameplay mixes traversal, stealth, puzzle-solving, and close-range combat, with limited use of period firearms and explosives. Encounters involve avoiding massive tripods, surviving chases, scavenging supplies, and navigating collapsing cities and remote wilderness areas under constant danger.
Они грабят аптеку. Это не наше дело.
Дядь, купи кирпич.
Я убил его.
Вниз!
Стой, тварь! Это же предательство! Оно самое, юноша. Оно самое.